T.S. sits at her desk, looking unusually determined. In front of her is a glass of ice-cold milk and several lactase tablets. She crushes the tablets into a fine powder and pours them into the milk with deliberate care, as though performing a practice laboratory protocol. T.S. is a computer science student at Duke Kunshan University, and she is severely lactose intolerant. Under normal circumstances, even a single glass of milk would be enough to ruin her entire day. Yet today, she believes that what she learned in Biology 110 Lab 4 will allow her to overcome biology itself. She stirs the cold milk, lifts the glass with confidence, and drinks it all in one bold motion. For a moment, she is convinced that the enzyme will protect her. Lactose may look simple, but its bond is remarkably stable. For individuals like T.S., who naturally produce little or no lactase, this disaccharide remains completely intact as it passes through the small intestine. What seems like an ordinary nutrient becomes a biochemical obstacle. The diagram shows lactase approaching the lactose molecule. Lactase is highly specific. Its active site fits lactose the way a particular key fits a particular lock. When conditions are right, the enzyme positions the lactose precisely, applies a water molecule, and breaks the bond cleanly into glucose and galactose. These monosaccharides are small, soluble, and ready for immediate absorption into the bloodstream, providing unusable energy. Without lactase, however, lactose travels onward untouched, eventually meeting gut bacteria that eagerly ferment it. The fermentation is what produces the gas, fluid shifts, and abdominal distress T.S. knows all too well. This picture represents the elegant biochemical pathway T.S. hoped to activate inside her body, one that depends on more than simply adding enzyme powder. Minutes later, T.S. is on the sofa. The initial confidence fades as stomach cramps begin to spread. The sounds in her abdomen grow louder and discomfort builds rapidly. Soon, she is running to the bathroom again and again, barely finding relief before the symptoms return. T.S. on the floor, curled up, rolling in pain. Her expression is a mixture of disbelief and regret. Whatever she expected the lactase to do, it clearly did not happen. In Lab 4, students did not use real lactose. Instead, they relied on ONPG, an artificial substrate that behaves like lactose but reveals enzyme activities through color. ONPG itself is colorless, appearing almost invisible in solution. Yet, once lactase cleaves it, the reaction releases ONP, a compound that turns unmistakably bright yellow. This design gives students a powerful visual cue. The deeper the yellow, the faster the enzyme has been working. The spectrum photometer, tuned to 420 nanometer, quantifies this color change with precision. By watching absorptions rise over time, T.S. could see the enzyme's kinetics, its speed, limits, and sensitivity to environmental conditions. What she forgot, in her moment of confidence with the milk, is that the yellow color only appears when lactase is actually active. Cold conditions inactivate the reaction entirely. In other words, the absence of yellow in her body was not a mystery at all. It was predictable from her own data. The next images illustrate the true cause of her miscalculation. At 37 Celsius, the enzyme is energetic, molecules collide frequently and reactions proceed rapidly. At 0 Celsius, the molecules barely move. Collisions are real, and enzyme activity slows to almost zero. The reaction rate graph appears, a steep curve at 37 Celsius, a moderate slope at 25 Celsius, a nearly flat, inactive line at 0 Celsius, the exact temperature of the milk that TS drank. By mixing lactase into ice-cold milk, TS unintentionally reproduced the sleepy enzyme condition from her own experiment. The lactase in the milk was essentially inactive during the brief time it spent in her stomach. So, almost all the lactose traveled unchanged into her intestine. TS reappears at her desk. She looks exhausted, but she finally understands. She reviews her lab menu, focusing on the temperature section, and the realization settles in. It is a protein bound to the rules of thermodynamics. The problem was not the enzyme, but the conditions. Cold milk prevented the reaction entirely. She sets down the menu, now wiser. Next time, if she dares to try milk again, she will allow lactase to work at around 37 Celsius before drinking it. A painful experience has transformed a laboratory graph into lived understanding.